Kaido, a name respected as one of the 4 emperors and a man known as the strongest creature alive. The mere mention of Kaido is enough to strike fear in even the most prominent figures of the One Piece world. Extraordinarily powerful, potentially immortal, and our protagonists have picked a fight with him. How in the world are they going to pull this one off? Welcome to a One Piece theory. Theory number 1. The Worst Generation Coalition. This is essentially the theory that the entirety of the Worst Generation minus Blackbeard is going to ally together to take on the beast that is Kaido. It sounds far-fetched at first, but let's stop and consider just how many of the Worst Generation are already involved with Kaido. Monkey D. Luffy and Roanoa Zoro have already promised to help take down the Emperor on behalf of the samurai of Wano. Trafalgar Law was also present for this promise and has pledged his allegiance after originally allying with Luffy for the goal of defeating Kaido. Eustace Kid was beaten and is currently being held in a jail cell by Kaido. Presumably Killer is also imprisoned or at large. Either way, with his captain captured, Killer is very involved with the Emperor. It's heavily implied that Scratchman Apu betrayed his alliance and has joined Kaido. X-Drake also appears to have joined Kaido's crew, entering the New World in order to gain his attention. Drake also appeared on the island that we assume is Wano, which is confirmed to be Kaido's base of operations. The whereabouts of Basil Hawkins are currently unknown, but after being attacked by Kaido, he is either in prison with Eustace Kid, or he's joined Kaido, or he's at large in a manner similar to that of Killer. So let's stop and have a count. That's 1, 2, 8. A total of 8 of the Worst Generation members prior to the Wano arc even beginning are already directly associated with the Emperor. And given that most of them are negatively associated with him, it isn't a stretch to see them forming a temporary alliance. Much like how Luffy has recently formed an alliance with Capone to assassinate Big Mom. Speaking of Capone, he's one of 3 figures that don't really have a clear role in this theory. As far as Capone goes, it's not out of the realm of possibility that he will escape with Luffy and end up accompanying them to Wano. Capone has shown an interest in killing prominent figures, so if he finds out about the alliance forming against Kaido, then he might just jump straight on board. As for Urouge, he has no personal vendetta against the Emperor, but he did have a direct encounter with him on the Sky Island Kaido used to launch himself into Kid's territory. So Urouge is well and truly in the neighborhood, recovering from his skirmish with Big Mom. It's also completely possible that he may catch wind of what's going on and seize an opportunity to topple a world power. And that just leaves Bonnie, and really she has no connection to this whatsoever, at least none that we know about. She is a complete wild card at the moment, and I can't firmly connect her to this future conflict. With that said, I think this theory is quite credible, if only for the fact that we are guaranteed to see at least 7 of the Worst Generation involved in the upcoming arc. I say 7 because it's entirely possible that Basil Hawkins, if not imprisoned, has just fled and will kind of do his own thing. But the fact is, the large majority of characters are poised and motivated to become involved here. So let's imagine this. Luffy and Capone flee from Big Mom. Capone accompanying Luffy to Wano after discovering his plot to beat Kaido. Along the way, they encounter Killer, who asks them for help to free Kid and/or Hawkins. Upon arriving in Wano, they meet up with Zoro, Trafalgar Law, and the rest of the Ninja Mink Samurai Alliance. They proceed to free Kid, possibly Hawkins, and encounter X-Drake and Scratchman Apu as antagonists along the way. Eventually, Drake and Apu realize the opportunity they have here, and together the Worst Generation Coalition now have the power necessary to deal with Kaido and his 3 calamities. It's a simple and unimaginative scenario presented here by me, but under the command of Oda's storytelling, this could be probably the most epic moment in the series so far. And if he really wanted to make a splash, he could insert Urouge and Bonnie into the action. And then the headlines around the world. The Worst Generation topples the strongest creature in the world. They all instantly and equally jump in notoriety, priming them to become the new top figures of the world after all of the emperors have been dealt with. Now I really like this theory, but it does have a few problems, mainly because it reads as fan fiction at the moment. It's undeniable that a large number of these individuals will be involved in the Wano arc somehow, but maybe getting everyone in on the action isn't what would best serve the characters. Maybe we need to save some mystery and purpose for future arcs. And of course, this theory assumes that the combined power of the Worst Generation would even be enough. As of right now, Kaido is practically immortal, possibly literally immortal. It may not be possible to beat him under conventional punchy means. So let's leave this for now and examine another thought. Theory number 2, a Yonko War. It may very well be that the only way to topple an emperor is to use another emperor. The clashing of powers like this would be on the scale of the Paramount War, and kind of inevitable actually, if any one of them actually wants to become the Pirate King. So who's most likely to go to war with Kaido? Well, first up we have Big Mom. Oda has gone to a lot of trouble to flesh out her crew and create some amazingly powerful characters that I don't think we're going to see anywhere near the full potential of in the Hoecake Island arc. So how's this for a scenario? Luffy escapes Hoecake Island, and an enraged Big Mom as well as the bulk of her fighting force pursue him to Wano, only then to have to clash with Kaido. Since Kaido isn't afraid of dying, Big Mom's soul fruit will have zero effect on him, so we can't rely on her directly to beat him. However, in the ensuing chaos, Kaido's crew will be weakened significantly, opening the way for the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance to get in there and face off against the strongest creature in the world. Another way this could go down is via Blackbeard. He and Luffy seem to have a bit of an entwined story going on, so it wouldn't surprise me if Blackbeard launched an attack on Kaido at the same time. Why would Blackbeard do that? Because Kaido has a road poneglyph, and we're assuming Blackbeard, like Luffy, has an interest in acquiring all of them. The biggest piece of evidence against Blackbeard showing up is that the last known action of the Blackbeard pirates placed them in Baltiga, which puts them out of position to be sailing to Wano so soon. And they may also just be recovering after their skirmish with the Revolutionary Army. As for the final Emperor Shanks, I don't see him getting involved in this arc for any reason really. If an Emperor is present, it will be Big Mom or Blackbeard, maybe both, maybe none. So let's go on and examine one more possibility. Theory number 3. The Marco Squad. So as we know, the Ninja Pirate Mink Samurai Alliance is currently split up with Nekomamushi's team seeking out Whitebeard's former top commander, Marco the Phoenix. So it's practically guaranteed that he will be involved in some way. But what interests me more than that is the potential slew of people that may follow Marco to Wano. I mean, if Nekomamushi can convince Marco to join them, what's to stop the rest of the Whitebeard commanders, or at least the ones left alive, coming along as well? People like Jozu and Vista, super strong combatants who have already been allied with Luffy once before in the series. The remnants of the Whitebeard pirates would comprise a powerful force, but that's not all. Should any of the Whitebeard pirates publicly reappear, there is a man currently hunting them by the name of Edward Weevil. He was introduced after the Dressrosa arc as the final of the 7 Warlords of the Sea, and special note was made of his raw power, very reminiscent of a young Whitebeard. Of course, Weevil claims to be the biological son of Whitebeard and seems to hold a grudge against everyone who either had a hand in Whitebeard's death or refuses to believe that he is Whitebeard's son. So we have our hook out here, being Marco, but why would Weevil end up fighting against Kaido? Well, just before the Paramount War, Kaido actually had a hand in Whitebeard's eventual death. He intercepted Shanks and the Red Hair Pirates, allowing the conflict between the Whitebeard Pirates and the world government to take place. If Kaido hadn't acted as he did, the war just plain may not have happened. And from our brief introduction to Weevil, I would say that's as good a reason as any to hold a grudge. Now that's all the theories I have on this for now, but I want to stress that I don't necessarily believe that any one of these will happen in isolation. It may even be a combination of the 3 that needs to be implemented to bring down Kaido. Whatever the case, those are my thoughts. If you have theories of your own, then please feel free to share them, and if you enjoyed this video, then please like, favorite, and subscribe. Also, please do comment with who, what, or where you'd like to see explored in another One Piece theory.